Hello, everyone. This is a very short attempt to look at what is happening on the AI market, because probably, as you know, the market, the technical market, really crashed or almost crashed on the 27th of January, just 2 days before the full moon, and it was a Monday, and Mondays are always tricky on the on the market start, and simply because a lot of things may happen during the weekend, and the market, of course, resonates and acts upon it. And I'm sure you know what happened. A very tiny state-sponsored Chinese corporation created another AI, and this AI is faster and better. And I don't know, I never used AI, so I have no idea what to expect from AIs. But actually, it sent a message that it's working much better and much cheaper than ChatGPT. That's the big deal. So let's take a look at the chart first, and then let's try to see what was happening. And so the whole crash was caused by the appearance of DeepSeek. This DeepSeek, of course, is a Chinese corporation, a tiny, tiny corporation. And because of the US ban for chips, that they can't actually buy the latest chips. And there's a restriction on what they can use from the market. They simply started to develop their own chips, and they also started to ingeniously somehow put together them. And in this way, they have a much cheaper and faster system. And this only shows how stupid it is to ban anything or to actually impose sanctions on other countries, because yeah, you could actually cause a lot of harm, but at the same time, first of all, think about any type of bans in the world. Immediately, you have a black market for it. So people will trade no matter what. The second thing is, if something is banned, then the human mind is going to go into this survival mode and will try to find solutions. And this is exactly what you saw. So this is the market start at 10 a.m. on January the 27th, New York. And as you can see, Aries is rising, the Chiron in the first, also Aries in the first. And there are a number of interesting features in this chart. First of all, the Pallas Athena Lilith conjunction. Lilith means the revolt against injustice, and Pallas Athena is wisdom, is opposite the retrograde Mars, and they create a T square with Chiron. And Chiron in Aries is linked to all kinds of karmic wounds around fighting, wars, blood, aggression, violence, and the like. And this T square is dissolved by the dark moon Lilith Ceres conjunction, which is making two quincunxes, two bidirectional quincunxes to Mars. And Ceres, besides the nurturing principle, is quite interestingly also denoting the mafia leader archetype, someone who is responsible for the family and who is also kind of creating things by the scene, behind the scene, and moving things behind the scene. And of course, Dark Moon Lilith is the acceptance of the curse. And yes, this is what you have here. This is exactly what you have here. We're going to look at it in a minute. What else is there is a full conjunction, which I'm going to I'm going to have a longer video. I'm going to show it tomorrow for you. But Venus is coming up to a conjunction with Neptune, and Neptune is tightening its conjunction with the North Node and actually ruling this. And as you can see, last October's full moon, the Virgo full moon, the eclipse, is right on Venus. Venus is coming up to a conjunction with the full moon eclipse. So and the lunar eclipse. And eclipses are funny things because they usually denote something sinister or bad or some unusual thing. This has been a very unusual event. What happens during a lunar eclipse? You have a full moon where the two luminaries are highly highlighting and illuminating each other, so there are no secrets. And slowly, the umbra of the earth is covering the full moon, blocking it out. And the earth is earthly pleasures and earthly needs, and anything related to physical existence and the human body. So you need to be very careful about your decisions when you have a lunar eclipse. You don't ever engage in not one night stands or fights during those days. But the earth plane is also finances, and Venus is responsible for finance. It's a financial planet as well, and they are right coming up to a conjunction. So that is fascinating because you had a huge loss for especially for one corporation, which we are going to look at. And then you have Mercury, which is very energetic at the very end of Capricorn, ready to move into Aquarius. And whenever you have the Sun and Mercury in different actually next door signs, what you have in an individual is that he or she is unable to express his thoughts. He feels like no one understands me, they misunderstand me. So there's a misunderstanding event as well. And Pluto, Mercury is always about manipulation. So that's the space-time moment. And here are the news. I just selected two of them. One says that DeepSeek AI app demonstrates pro-CCP bias influence. Of course. Why? What kind of bias does ChatGPT influence? It's the leftist, liberal leftist bias. There's always a bias. Who whoever puts together something has a bias because you look through the lenses of your own uh, behavior patterns, your own choices, your own ideas, ideology, religion, and so on. So yeah, of course, anything in China can only function if it is approved by the Communist Party. Uh, this has been always the case. So why are you questioning it? Of course. But also, Trump's reaction was interesting. He called it as a wake up call after tech stock slide. So actually, yeah, Nvidia, the chip maker, lost 600 billion. So that's an unprecedented amount of money, really. Actually, sorry about that. I didn't want that. Okay, so it's really fascinating to see what's happening because actually such amount of drop has never been recorded in human history or the history of the stock market. So this is what you have at the space-time moment. So again, this is the New York chart for 10 a.m. on Monday, the 27th. As you can see, there is this T-square dissolved by Ceres and dark moon, but there's also something else. The sun, sorry about that. I'm clumsy. The sun is making an exact quindecilla to this Mars, and quindecilla is obsession and ambition. So that is also shaking this T-square, so to speak. And the sun is also highlighting and, of course, illuminating Mars, and Mars here is retrograde. So this cardinal T-square has interesting features if you look at what is dissolving it and how is impacting it. And yeah, it's also fortified. So it's not just dissolved, but it's getting fortified by this quindecilla from the sun. And in the space-time moment, the ascendant is aligned with Alpheratz, Alpha Pegasus, which is the second healing world for suicide victims. It's a very strong star where you get back your momentum when you are able to move a little bit more freer than previously. Because the first one, Sheat, is the first healing place where the fresh suicide victims are being taken. With Alpheratz, you learn to move around, you learn to again function. And on the sun, you have Nath, Nut, actually, the starry sky. So she's the proto creator goddess of the Egyptians. On asteroid Lilith, you have Eros, which is desire. By the way, in tomorrow's video, you will see a couple of the love energies, how what kinds of love there is in the Bible, the various types of love the Greeks distinguished, and Eros, of course, is carnal love. It's one of the it's what moves us. It's actually anything you do not out of chores or of industriousness or whatever. Whatever you move towards is always governed by and pushed by desire. On Pars Athena, you have fantasia, fantasy, of course, the human fantasy, which is wonderful and can do whatever it wants, can create whatever it wants. And Arsinoe, she was the cousin of Cleopatra, and both of them are ending the dynasty, the Ptolemaic dynasty. So it's a dynasty ending energy. Quite fascinating if you consider what happened. On the dark moon Ceres conjunction, we have Galahad, the knight in shining armor, Zeus, the chief god, and Chariclo, who was a nymph, and she fell in love with Chiron, the centaur, and in order to be with him, in order to become his wife, she turned herself into uh, the first female centaur, and so it's a complete transformation for the sake of something, complete transformation. And of Mars, you have Cybele, the goddess, the creator god of Asia Minor, and Spartacus, the slave who revolted and paid for it with his own life. And we are going to come to this point, but first, this is what I wanted to show you because that is really fascinating. So here's Nvidia Corporation, which was incorporated in Sunnyvale, California on April 5th, 1993. This is a noon chart because, of course, we don't know the time, so don't look at the houses at all. Actually, even the moon, if it was incorporated at 8 a.m., it might still be at the very end of Virgo, but probably it's already a Libra moon. If it is, it could be very close to the supergalactic center. We might not know it, so I'm not going to speculate about it. But it is coming up to a conjunction with retrograde Jupiter. And as you can see, there's a Chiron dark moon Lilith conjunction coming up with the conjunction, actually with trans Pluto, so the dimension jump. Mercury is conjunct black moon Lilith. So that's a very powerful conjunction because it shows that I will do whatever I have to because I know what to do and I have the courage to do it, not just clairvoyance. The sun is conjunct Aries, drastically altered outer circumstances. And certainly chips were transforming the world, have been transforming the whole world. If you consider, I mean, it's so ridiculous. 40 years ago, we had a wash machine that was just washing, okay, nothing else. Now you have wash machines and powered by chips, and which can measure your clothes and you know your laundry, and they decide. You know, it's funny. I just recently talked to someone who said to me, you know, I wish there were just regular wash machines with 2 or 3 buttons, like kids dirty laundry and whatever fast and light laundry, and not this very complicated thing. Most of the people who have these complicated machines usually use 2 or 3 programs only, and it's very true. But actually, this is what you saw happening. There's also, which I didn't circle, a Saturn Pallas Athena Astrea conjunction. Very true. Saturn here is the supportive energy. Saturn, which means I will do foundation. Pallas Athena through wisdom, using wisdom, and Australia, which will change the world. That's exactly what happened with this corporation. And there's also a Neptune-Uranus conjunction. This is a very, very important world aspect, which you will see this year and next year is going to be, I mean, in 2025 and 26, you will have we will have the sextile. And this is a conjunction which always sets off a new era, because Neptune describes the world, the leading ideology or the leading religion of the world at a certain moment, and Uranus changes it, so the main ideology of the world is changing. That's what this conjunction uh, describes. And of course, Uranus rules all kinds of modern technology, chips and the internet and the AI. So that's really fascinating, this chart. Okay, and here are the transits. Look at it. This is Mars, spot on natal Mars. Chiron is on the Sun Aries conjunction, and Pallas Athena, Lilith are on the Uranus Neptune conjunction. So there is an original T square, a cardinal T square in this chart, and this cardinal T square is amplified by these transits. Of course, you can say, and you will justly say, that Mars is there every 2 years. So what's such a big deal about a Mars transit? Well, even if it's there every 2 years, it does not usually have a T square tightly conjunct the original T square. So this is number one. Number two is that this particular Mars is very out of bounds at the moment. This is what we can see. So it's way up to the north. You can actually check it out. It's a beautiful red planet. After sunset, it's up there. As you can see, the moon at that particular moment was contraparallel, because the moon was also out of bounds, but to the south. So that's what makes it special. This space-time moment, this biggest market crash for one single corporation and one single technology or market segment. And we do live in interesting times, I can tell you. Thank you for listening. And I'm coming tomorrow with the Venus Neptune. Thank you. Bye bye.